Are we record? There we are. Well, hello, Madam Debra Englehart Nash,
Hi there.
our matriarch of ADMC. Right? You're
Well,
kind of the mom everybody goes to.
I'm going to hit this button off. So, well, it's interesting how, I've been there since the beginning. I've been there since, when 9 of us sat around a room in a hotel uh, and said, how do we want to do this? Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to dig into that, but I want to just real quick remind the membership. Um, we're doing yet another video and to introduce you guys to make sure that we are answering your questions, that we're giving you the information you need, because Andrea and the board are going to propose are proposing new membership tiers to you, the membership. The reason we're doing that, we really want to open up our membership. We want the opportunity for newer members to be able to join us, for the more veteran members to be able to mentor them. We want to be the vehicle that drives everyone to the experts that they need. And so opening up the membership, we're still going to have an application process. We have to, because we are a nonprofit organization. However, the application and the membership will not be based on years of experience or your level of income. It is kind of based on level of experience, but let's explain that in just a minute. So before we get to that, we've been working on this for months. I've reached out to Debra multiple times because, Debra, you're a founding member of ADMC, and you kind of broached on that. There were 9 of you sitting around a table. Tell us, how did it start? What was the feeling behind it, and why? Why do we now have ADMC?
Ah, great question. There were a number of us who worked for a major consulting company. And for whatever reason, and we all had different reasons why we all decided that we wanted to leave all the different companies. Remember, back then, before many people in this organization were born, there were no specialty consultants. There were no OSHA, HIPAA, chair. There was one chairside consultant, but there were no other specialties. We were all general consultants. And we had all been sort of under the umbrella of consulting companies. Well, when a group of us, for our own reasons, decided we wanted to leave and become independent consultants, we knew we still wanted to be able to collaborate with our peers. We wanted to be able to connect and say, hey, who has ortho experience? Who has experience in oral surgery? Who's had this situation that came up in our office? So we wanted mentorship. We wanted a collaboration. We also wanted to create a vehicle where we could garner education. So we said we want to create this forum so that we can put something together on a more formal basis, rather than just a bunch, the 9 friends calling each other on the phone, or 9 friends saying, "Hey, let's meet here." The other reason we wanted to do that as well at the time, um, we really thought there should be a criteria for when a doctor was choosing a consultant. We want there should be a criteria for, or that they would know the level of professionalism or the level of experience and expertise that the person they were hiring had. So, I mean, I think the tier idea is, we didn't even think about that back then, but it's like we wanted to be able to create an opportunity for dentists to know that this person has been consulting for this amount of time, as opposed to this person has no experience, or this person is an office manager and is doing this part-time. So we wanted to create criteria for the dentist to be aware, not necessarily the reason to select, but to be aware of, this is the level of expertise of the person to whom you're hiring.
Boy, what a change.
What a
So you said
change.
a couple of things, right? You back then, When was back then, Deborah?
Back, yeah. That was 1987.
So 1987, a group of 9. Here's what I love about this, and talking to Debbie Castagna and talking to Catherine Itel and talking to a couple of members who've been there for 25 plus years or since the beginning. Education, collaboration, networking.
Yeah. And camaraderie.
And
And
that's,
camaraderie. I mean, you're out in the field, but you know, you're out in the field by yourself. You're in the trenches alone. You want to be able to call on your crew. You want to be able to call on your group and say, "Hey, have you ever encountered this situation before? What would you
right.
do about what would you do about this? Hey, this just happened in an office with whom I'm consulting. Has that ever happened to you? What did you do about it?" Once again, we didn't have experts in HR like Tim Twiggs and the Allens, and we didn't have those people. We didn't have infection control specialists. We had one consultant who was a chairside assistant consultant, and we all called on her. So we needed each other to become better consultants, and that's the core. We needed each other to become better consultants, and that's why
Yes.
the academy was formed.
So we never want to change that.
No.
So as long as I'm a part of the academy, as long as you're a part of the academy, we don't want to change that. We want education to be our main goal. We want collaboration. We want to be a group of like-minded individuals that we can call on, that we can Facebook on, that we can, social media and say, this is what happened. How do I handle it? We never want that to change.
Right.
Because that's the core value and the core spirit of Charlie Kidd. However, what we do need to do is listen to the masses. We need to listen to the industry. We need to listen to our membership, and we need to listen to the people who want to be a member. And that's where the change is going to happen. So rather than the expertise only, 8+ years, 50% of your income, rather than do that, what we're proposing is that we open this up to, and you're going to understand this like I do, to somebody who maybe is a practice administrator or an office manager, somebody who's maybe a software trainer. They're in offices doing this, but they haven't actually formed that company or joined another, because that was me, right? That I was a practice. I started out as a chairside assistant. I was a practice administrator. Then I became a Dentrix trainer, and all of a sudden I'm thrown into this world. But I'm not. 50% of my income is not coming from that. I don't have a business yet. Have no idea where to start. So we want to open that up.
Think about this too.
And that would,
think about this, Laci. You came to a lunch and learn that I had. Remember? Yeah, you came to a lunch and learn. But I think about this too, because the criteria that we had established in 1987, and I think we finally chartered it in 1988, probably. It actually, the criteria that we had back then doesn't really fit anymore. Because once again, some of us branch out. Some of our income isn't a percentage in consulting. It's also in speaking. It's also in writing. It's also in, possibly being an industry KOL or
AOL. Yeah.
Yeah. So there could be all sorts of revenue streams that don't fit the original criteria.
I love that. Thank you for saying that. Because I think that's what we all need to hear, is the criteria that we've had, it just really doesn't fit in 2024 in what the industry is going. And we need to listen to that. And I think that's probably the two biggest points, if I could call, which I may call every single member and say, our two biggest points are educate. Like, we want to keep the spirit of Charlie Kidd and those 9 founding members, but we also want to listen to the industry and where we are now, and we want to stay relevant.
Absolutely.
So in that, let's talk about the 4 tiers. So the first one is the influencer. That's the one we were just talking about, that I feel like is really going to open the door to several people that can come on board, and we're going to give them a mentor for at least a year to help them with that, right? So the influencer, industry experience is maybe in a dental practice, is software training, is doing something else, but they're kind of consulting, right? They're going to have access to newsletters, all the online resources. They're going to have a website profile. I like this, that they can stay at this level for 2 years, and then we move them to innovator. And they can go to the Connect meetings, which, Debra, you are the queen of Connect. We have got to get more members doing a Connect meeting. Absolutely, because you're the queen of Connect. If we have some time after this, let's talk about your Connect meeting, because it's amazing.
Okay.
The only no we're putting in the influencer is the voting rights. It's just going to be a matter of, let's get 2 years under your belt. Let's really see if this is something you want to do, and then we're going to give you those voting rights.
Laci, think about this. This is so amazing. Think about this. I mean, we were either foolish or brave, or foolishly brave, or bravely foolish. When we started this, we sort of jumped in with no safety net, with no life ring. And I mean, you left full time. I was single. I left a full time business. I mean, a full time career or a full time job to start this with no promise of future income. On a hope and a prayer, we were either really brilliant or really stupid.
You go with really brilliant.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
because
So
we're still here.
But and we're still here. And but how great to have an opportunity for those people. I was just having coffee, and I was in New York with a client, just having coffee with an office manager who's thinking of wanting to go into consulting. And I said, you know what? The academy would be perfect for you, because this would give you an opportunity to understand the business. That's the other thing. See, here's the other deal. Back in 1987, we were already established. I had established my practice in 1985, so I was 2 years in. Some of them had established probably a year before me. We were all fairly new in terms of our businesses, but we'd already established a business. So we'd already had income. So now you've got people who are saying, I'm thinking of this. They really don't have an income stream. They want to learn how to create one. We can help them do that.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Then we move on to the innovator membership. Innovator, 1 to 3 years or more. Again, you're kind of a newbie in the consulting industry, just getting started. Access to all the online newsletters and resources, website profile. You're going to have voting rights. We are going to say you need to attend our annual meeting at least once every 2 years. We would love for you to serve on a committee under a director, and of course, access to the Connect meetings. So again, just stepping it up, just starting to stepping it up. Visionary, well, you're kind of legendary, but you're also visionary. Visionary, I feel like 90% of our current membership is just going to be grandfathered into the visionary. We're already here. We're already doing everything. The difference is we are going to highly encourage you to serve on a board or on a committee. And we're going to ask that you participate in the mentorship program for an influencer or an innovator. In my mind, how this is going to work is we get an influencer or we get an innovator. As soon as they're in, we give them a mentor. That mentor reaches out to them immediately. They start talking, and then they're their best friend during the annual meeting and introducing them to everyone else. And they have them for a full year. My thought process is, after the first year, if it was a huge hit, keep helping them, keep working with them, or hand them off to another visionary that has a different mindset, that has a different set of eyes and different contacts that can help with that.
Sure. There might also be some geographical similarities that might come into play there. In terms of, boy, you're in my region, you're in my area, so you want to come and shadow me, or with permission of my client, you want to come and spend a day with me and or however that, whatever that might look like. So I think that's great. And you just made me think about, man, as an innovator, we could have an innovation day. Okay. Here's how you set,
Oh,
here's how you set your feed. And some visionaries may want to go to innovation day.
right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
here's how you
Absolutely.
establish your fees. Here's how you introduce yourself to key opinion leaders. Here's how you get published. Here's how you, I mean, I mean, that would, so for innovation, so there might be innovation influencer day. I mean, so that would really be, I think, a nice highlight.
That, and you know what? It's silly, but I just all of a sudden had a thought. We should have the ribbons with the tags on our name badges that say, influencer, innovator, visionary, or legend. I want
Yeah.
that legend tag.
Old, just old, just, it's
Just
funny because I know this is off topic, but not. I was reading the a Facebook message this morning, and I don't get on a lot. I mean, I try, but I read, and someone had posted, I don't know if you saw it this morning, that they were an office manager and they were burned out. They feel burnt out and they feel dejected and they feel like, why are they still here? Why are they still in the industry? They were not necessarily only burnt out in their job, but they were burnt out in our industry. And actually, Kyle Summerford, who's a office manager, who should be a member of the academy, actually posted a really nice thing about you need to get with like-minded people. That's the other reason for the academy.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because we do reinvigorate ourselves. I mean, I think that we would both be lying if we didn't raise our hand and say at some point we felt dejected. At some point we felt burnt out by the industry and by our own career. And I will be on ADMC helps reinvigorate me 100%.
Absolutely. And my
Yeah.
peers do. I mean, there are some days I wake up in the morning and I say, why do I have the right to do this? Or what do I really know? Sometimes I'll go and say, do I really know what I'm doing? And so sometimes, it gets that reinforcement as well. Sometimes I don't, the great thing about the academy now that we didn't have, well, we kind of had, but we have it on such a grander scale now. Again, I just, a doctor called me in San Diego. It was an insurance question, not my forte. So I reached out to people in the academy. I was their forte. Man, I had an answer probably within 2 hours on how to respond to this doctor. So my old employer, and may he rest in peace, he makes a great wine. And he's one of the things he used to say, you may not be as smart as me. You may be smarter than me, but you're not as smart as my whole team. And I sort of see my academy members as my team that I can call on. I may not have the answer, but I know somebody who does.
I love that. And that's our tools in our toolbox are each other.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, the last membership is legendary. These ladies, gentlemen, maybe a veteran or a founding member, they're not actually consulting. They're not actively consulting anymore, but we still want them to be a part of that. Those are the Phyllis Waits, the Betsy Wheats. Who else?
Chris Bernhardt. She was one of the 9. Risa Pollock, who's not in dentistry anymore, but man, she's an amazing human being. She's now working with the Kidney Foundation for a whole other lot of reasons. I'm trying to think of Pam Struthers.
I mean, I know Linda Miles was not a founding member, but she's certainly legendary and a veteran member who's
absolutely
no longer actually consulting. So we want them to still come to the meetings and be a part of the academy as well. So here's what I'm thinking. We're gonna not next Tuesday, July 23rd. We're gonna do a live Zoom meeting. Andrea, Emmy Sanders, and myself. We're gonna do a live Zoom meeting. And we'll send out the link to that to all of the members. This is going to give everybody or anybody the opportunity to ask us questions to find it out. After that, I think we're pretty close to sending this out to a membership for the vote. Now, members, we need your vote. We have to have a quorum. We have to have a majority vote in order to pass this new thing. If for any reason you're watching this right now and going, I still don't get it, please contact me directly or Andrea or Bonnie or any of the board members so we can do that. We're going to continue to push information out to you. And then my thought process is once this passes, we're going to do a big, huge, we're going to do all of this on the open Facebook page to start letting other people know we're open. Come talk to us. We want you to be a part of this. So real quick, influencer, innovator, visionary, and legend. And we're also going to talk how this might change the fees a little bit. Nothing bad. We're just going to maybe separate some fees. We'll do that on Tuesday, the 23rd on the Zoom live. So Debra,
I know a couple of things that you're thinking of, by the way.
Yeah.
I know, because I think one of the things that, and you didn't tell me I could ask questions, but you told Debbie she could, so I'm going to. So,
okay.
I think somebody might be listening to this and said, so are there going to be segments? So now the legendaries and the visionaries are going to segment off. And I would say absolutely the absolute opposite. So when we're sitting at tables, you're going to have a legendary, you're going to have a visionary, you're going to have an influencer, you're going to have, we're going to mix it up. I think that's important for people to understand that this is all about integrating, not segregating. I also think what's really important to know is that we soon may become the only dental specific organization for people who want to stay in the dental consulting, dental speaking lane. We may be the only organization that can offer that for them in the future. So I think that we're creating a wonderful niche, and not a elitist niche, but I think actually we're opening it up. So I think for people who are really looking at wanting to stay to be a dental consultant, this is probably their home.
I like it. I appreciate you saying that. I'm glad you said it. We've gone for about 20 plus minutes, but you get Debra and I together in the room or on video. It's going to be a long one. No, I so appreciate your friendship, your mentorship. Yes, I met you for the very first time when I was a practice administrator, and I attended one of your lunch and roundtable discussions, and it was amazing. I remember that like it was yesterday. But I do appreciate you being open to this. I appreciate your support in this. And I know you and I will be making another video for for a different page.
We absolutely will. So
thanks,
thank
Debra.
you for including me, and thank you for your hard work and the hard work of the board. It's sometimes a thankless responsibility. Ask me. I did it 3 times. So yeah. But you do it because you care and because you want to give back. So thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Love you tons. Talk to you soon.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.